He gets mad when I do this, but Mike's 60, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Who gives a shit what I think? It's not my fight.
Mike Tyson just made a big statement after Dana White gave him a tough reality check, proving he was right. If Tyson had retired at his peak, he would have been remembered as one of the greatest boxers ever, a true legend. He had the chance to go down in history for his incredible talent, but instead, he took a risk by trying to revive his career when he was no longer at his best, chasing past glory in his worst shape.
But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this fucking kid's gonna do anything to me? He's not good. He's not gonna fucking knock me out. He's not gonna do this. And you saw him, he tripped when he was walking down the thing. He had a hard time walking up the stairs. He had a knee brace on, and Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him.
Dana White warned Tyson to think carefully, but he didn't listen. Tyson truly believed he could still knock people out in seconds like he used to in his prime. That was the Mike everyone feared, but now he has damaged his own legacy. By choosing to fight again, he ruined his future with his own decisions. And now all he has left is regret.
Tyson shows up, everybody makes money, you know? Jake Paul is, you know, I don't have to tell you guys, you guys know, Mike Tyson is the A++++ side of that thing.
Mike Tyson seems to be stuck in a fantasy, still thinking he's the toughest man on the planet. Mike, you're 58 years old, and the only thing you've knocked out recently is your own credibility after a staged fight.
Put together a training camp and come in and, you know, I don't like to see guys fighting it. Be a 31-year age difference during that fight. Just, you guys know what I think of that.
Jake Paul is 27. Mike, this is you're 31 years older. This isn't a fight. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Dana White probably hoped Tyson would still have some fight left in him, but instead, he had to watch as Tyson proved he's no longer the baddest, not even close.
And if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expected. You know, Mike's almost 60 years old. He's Mike Tyson, but he's 60 years old.
Remember Tyson's comeback fight with Roy Jones Jr. in 2020? The one where he claimed he was still a beast? It was supposed to be just an exhibition, but Tyson ended up looking out of shape. Before the fight, Dana White even begged him to reconsider, saying, Mike, you're old, take it easy.
You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and, you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So
Tyson went into that fight acting like he could still knock people out, but all we saw was him struggling in the ring, looking lost. At 240 pounds, he was carrying extra weight, not just on his body, but in his mind. It was sad and embarrassing, yet Tyson still claims he could have beaten Jake Paul if he wanted to. Really, Mike? You couldn't even land a good punch or move your legs properly. This is the same Tyson who once terrified opponents just with a stare, and now he's a shadow of that man. Even after Dana White's reality check, Tyson refuses to see the truth.
I was wrong. I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. He's like, you honestly think this fucking kid's gonna do anything to me? He's not good. He's not gonna knock me out. And he was right.
And let's not even get started on his Twitter rants. In the summer of 2023, Tyson spent his time complaining about his body breaking down and how he almost died a few times. He even talked about blood transfusions like it's some superhero story. Mike, you're not Iron Man. You're a 58-year-old man who's lost touch with reality. Everyone can see it. You're done, still holding on to a past you can't let go of.
What did you expect? Seriously, when you stayed home and you turned on Netflix that night, we were like, holy fuck, I'm about to see the greatest live sporting event of all time. No, you fucking did not. You got exactly what you thought you were gonna get.
Then there's the Shark Week incident. This one's unbelievable. The man who once terrified every boxer on the planet was now threatening to hurt people on a boat just because they asked him to go shark diving. What happened, Mike? Where did all that tough guy energy go? All that's left is a bitter old man who can't control his temper.
Set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money. And he's like, you fucking... So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the fucking ocean with a bunch of sharks.
Tyson is the perfect example of a fall from grace. There was a time when he'd walk into a room and everyone would go silent, out of respect. Now, when he shows up, people just wonder how much longer he'll keep up this act. And that fight with Jake Paul? Let's be honest, it was a joke, a total cash grab. Dana White called it a con, and he was absolutely right.
You know, there's a lot of, Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all time.
The fight with Jake Paul made $20 million in total revenue, which might sound impressive, until you remember Tyson's last exhibition fight with Roy Jones Jr. brought in $80 million. That's right, $80 million. How did it go from that to a sad, sluggish spectacle with Jake Paul, where Tyson didn't even throw a punch? He wasn't fighting for glory, he was fighting for a paycheck. And it showed. His performance was slow, distracted, and embarrassing. His heart wasn't in it at all. And now Tyson is making headlines again with his brilliant decision to entertain a $700 million offer from a Saudi billionaire for a rematch with Jake Paul. $700 million.
Now, His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh, he wants to see the rematch between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and he's now offering Mike Tyson $700 million.
That $700 million offer was more than double what Canelo Alvarez made for his huge contract. But Mike Tyson, the so-called baddest man on the planet, decided to turn it down. Why? Health concerns? Family time? Please. He's been using the family excuse like it's the last golden cow. The real reason is simple. He knows he would have gotten destroyed in that rematch. He's not willing to risk what's left of his already damaged reputation.
Such an incredible fight and bring it to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
It is not something to surprise or not. We have a lot to fight.
Let's break this down because this decision is hard to understand. Tyson is all about the money now. He can say whatever he wants about protecting his legacy or staying healthy. But let's face it, he knows his time has passed. His first fight with Jake Paul was a joke, and if he thinks a rematch would be any different, he's living in a fantasy world. Tyson hasn't been in his prime for years and his body is falling apart, so he made the smart choice to avoid being embarrassed again. He couldn't risk the world seeing him as a washed-up joke. His career is already on life support, and that rematch would have been the final blow.
And for Netflix, this thing was brilliant because you knew it was going to pull a massive number because of Mike Tyson, right? And to be fair to Jake, you're going to tune in to watch him get knocked out, hopefully, right? That's what everybody wants to see.
Let's talk numbers. Tyson's biggest paycheck ever was $30 million for his fight against Lennox Lewis in 1999, back when he was at his peak and people actually feared him. Now he's turning down a $700 million offer, which is more than he made in his entire boxing career. Are you serious? That's an offer any sane person would jump at. But no, Tyson didn't want to ruin his legacy. What legacy? The only thing left of it is a decent documentary and some punch-drunk interviews. And here's the kicker. Jake Paul is laughing all the way to the bank. His boxing career is all about viral moments, and in 2023, Jake made $45 million from social media and these circus fights he keeps putting on.
My biggest problem with the Jake Paul thing is, and how this plays out, is when he actually fought somebody who was a boxer, who had the same type of record he has, who is his age,
Tommy,
and who is his size, he lost.
Meanwhile, Tyson, once a legend, is barely making anything close to that. The sad truth is, he would have just shown up for the paycheck while Jake Paul played the drama and hype for all it's worth. It's almost sad how far Tyson has fallen, but at least he wasn't fooling Dana White. Dana, as blunt as ever, called Tyson out for being irrelevant. Tyson's no longer a threat in the ring, he's just a brand. A washed-up legend who shows up for the money, and that's it.
Kid, when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like, he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world, he was an executioner.
Let's talk about how Tyson is slowly losing it. The man who once terrified people now shows us how fragile his mind has become. Remember the Shark Week incident when he threatened to kill everyone on the boat just because they asked him to go shark diving? Really? Is this the same Mike Tyson who used to be a nightmare in the ring? Now he's just a shadow of that tough guy image. He's not scary, he's just sad. Tyson made $20 million from that fight, which sounds like a lot, but it's nothing compared to the $700 million offer from Saudi Arabia he turned down. He didn't want to risk more humiliation.
Isn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40.
Let's be honest, Tyson is just chasing cash now, and it's really embarrassing. He's no longer the guy who knocked people out in seconds. He's the guy scrambling for whatever money he can still get. His brand is ruined, his legacy is a joke, and the worst part is, even after Dana White and the fans gave him a reality check, Tyson still doesn't get it. He's out here pretending to be a champion, but every time he steps into the spotlight, he just reminds us of how far he's fallen. Tyson's no longer a fighter, he's a washed-up sideshow, and it's time we all admit it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.